Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us on this independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at the Brentford Community Stadium has just got underway. The players have taken the knee and Mike Dean has started proceedings on what should be a very exciting game, we're hoping, as Newcastle straight away getting on the attack. A ball at the edge of the area just eludes Ryan Fraser. The ball now cleared back up towards the halfway line, but both sides need a win today. Newcastle certainly have been making strides in the last few weeks, whereas Brentford really have been struggling to get into any kind of form. But with sides behind them starting to pick up points, Brentford know that they are very much in this relegation fight, and their next few games really could decide their season. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz and Will Maxwell taking you through the action. Will, it's a game that both sides should think we can win today.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think there's enough weaknesses in both of these sides for the other to exploit. It's just whether or not they can sort of actually deal with their own issues first before even going to do that. Like you mentioned, it is a massive game for both sides. Brentford, although they're relatively high up in the bottom half of the table, they know with their run of form that they've had, and like you mentioned, the teams in the relegation zone all suddenly picking up wins and points, that they are going to be brought into a relegation scap, and they haven't had the greatest run of form recently, so they definitely need a win here to try and increase their confidence once again.
Absolutely. It's 14th place Brentford against 17th place Newcastle, just 2 points separated them. Newcastle do have 2 games in hand on Brentford as well. Long ball now goes up towards Joelinton. He can't keep it in play, though. It's out for a Brentford goal kick. Now, we did see the formations before kick-off. It looked as though Brentford were going to be playing with a back 3, but it may actually be a back 4 this afternoon. So it's David Raya in goal with a back 4 of Christopher Ajer, Pontus Jansson, Ethan Pinnock and Rico Henry. The 3 in midfield of Vitaly Janelt, Christian Norgard and Matthias Jensen, with Josh Da Silva joining Brian Mbuemo and Johan Visser as an attacking 3. We'll see if that's actually how it pans out for Brentford as the afternoon progresses. But David Raya thinking about taking a short goal kick. There are 2 Newcastle players still pressing, so he decides to clear it long in the end. Straight over the top, over the head of Da Silva. Kept in play here. In fact, Rico Henry will let it go out for a throw. Now, there are other games in the Premier League at the moment. There has been a delay between the game between Brighton and Aston Villa. That's due to some traffic problems around the Amex. But Palace against Burnley and Manchester United and Watford are the other 2 games that have just kicked off, and all of them are available on our service. In the earlier game, Leeds losing 4-0 at home to Spurs. And it's Everton against Manchester City to come later this evening. It's a throw on to Newcastle down the right-hand side. Emil Kraft into the sun in this first half. Just looking to see where his teammates might be. Stealing a few yards as well, but he does get a long throw out aimed at Chris Wood. It's headed straight back towards Kraft, out for another throw. This time he goes back towards the edge of his own penalty area. Fabian Schär under pressure there from Mbuemo. Clears the ball over the top, which Wood will chase. Pontus Jansson should get there first. And he sort of karate kicks it out for a throw. So Newcastle trying to get a bit of early possession here, get a bit of an early advantage. Brentford haven't been particularly confident in their last 5 or 6 games. So from Newcastle's point of view, if they can get in the ascendancy, should serve them well.
Yes, it really could. I mean, I'll probably say on the balance of the players that have been named in the starting lineup for both sides, that the attacking outlets for both sides seem to be quite similar. Obviously, Newcastle are really going to miss the likes of Kieran Trippier and Alan Saint-Maximin today. They're going to lose a lot of creativity and directness to their play. But there's enough in their squads, you would imagine, to cause issues for this Brentford defence. But I think Brentford probably have the pace and the counter-attacking players on the field to also get at Newcastle. So it might be a tactic for Thomas Frank just to sit back a little bit, allow Newcastle possession, and maybe catch Newcastle out on the counter.
It's been a sorry year for Brentford so far, if we count the whole of 2022, the 2 months that we've had. Brentford beat Aston Villa on the 2nd of January. They then beat Port Vale on the 8th of January in the FA Cup, and since then it's been nothing but defeats for Thomas Frank's side, apart from that 0-0 draw that they had against Crystal Palace in their last home game. It really has been some sorry form for the Bees, whereas Newcastle, after that humiliating 1-0 defeat at home to Cambridge in the FA Cup, have gone 5 games unbeaten, including 3 wins in a row against Leeds, Everton and Villa before that 1-1 draw at West Ham last time out. But here come Brentford now with the ball flicks over the top here, and Mbuemo is chasing it. That's good play though, good covering there from Matt Targett. He looks over, I'm not sure if he's looking at the linesman expecting a foul or an offside, but neither is given. and it will be a corner kick to Brentford down the left-hand side.
It was a lovely little flick over the top there for Brian Mbeumo. Just it wasn't far enough ahead of him for him to really utilise his acceleration. Had to hold up his run in order to hold on to possession, and that allowed Target just to get half a yard and get a vital toe in. But corner kick, opportunity for the big boys to come forward.
Certainly is, and Brentford players now flooding the 6-yard box. Dubravka trying to find some space so that he can come out for the cross. It's going to be an outswinger from this left-hand side. Dinked up in the air towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed up in the air by Dan Burn before Jacob Murphy flicks it away from his own penalty area. But Vitaly Janelt keeps the ball alive here for Brentford. And now it's with Rico Henry. Back to Josh Da Silva, who made his return to the first team in that FA Cup defeat against Everton for Brentford, having been out injured for a year. Long ball now down the right-hand side here, one for Matthias Jensen to chase, who must be a little bit nervous about his fellow compatriot Christian Eriksen joining Brentford, because he is potentially going to be taking Jensen's place in that central midfield. Christian Eriksen is on the bench today, and Thomas Frank does expect him to play some part, so I suppose it all depends on how the game's going to pan out in the second half. But Brentford now just putting a bit more pressure here on Newcastle. Joelinton does well to slide in and try and keep his side in possession, and Jonjo Shelvey miscued his pass, so it's with Da Silva now down the right-hand side. Under pressure there from Target, goes back towards Pontus Jansson. Christopher Ayer now on the right-hand side. Newcastle trying to press out a little bit as well. As Ayer's ball now to Visser. That's a very heavy touch, though, from the Bees' number 11. It's easily picked off there by Jonjo Shelvey. Newcastle are looking to play out from the back. And here is Jacob Murphy, spots the run of Emil Kraft, but his pass is charged out. Brentford now have a chance to go forward. Just taking a little bit too long there in midfield was Mbeumo. He's robbed of the ball, and now Joelinton can go forward here for the visitors, and he finds Ryan Fraser down the left-hand side. Fraser into the run of Joelinton into the penalty area, and Joelinton slips as he puts that cross in. It deflects off Pontus Jansson, then back off Joelinton. That's what the referee Mike Dean has decided, and it will only be a goal kick, but Joelinton's not happy.
No, he's not happy. Looking at the replay there, it's with the screen, with the camera angles we've been provided, it's pretty inconclusive. I think the referee has got that decision right, and there was a little chuckle between Jansson and Joelinton, so there might have been just been an air that Jansson sort of was aware that Joelinton had been caught out there. But you'd probably say opening 6-7 minutes of this game, Newcastle probably been the brighter of the two sides. Just
looking a little bit more confident on the ball when they go forward, but now a long ball from Ayer with one for Brian Mbeumo to chase. He gets all the way to the byline, being stopped here by the large frame of Dan Burn. He goes back towards Jensen. Jensen's ball into the box is a good one, looking for Johan Visser. That's stopped by Fabian Schär. Target heads it away, but not too far. So Mbeumo still with a chance down the right-hand side. Jensen goes on the overlap, and Mbeumo chooses to ignore him and then puts a left-footed cross himself. Janelt and Visser were waiting in the box, but it's too high for both of them.
Yeah, not a great delivery there by Mbeumo, almost a direct contrast to Matthias Jensen's, which was a fantastic cross into the area. It was a vital bit of defending by, I think it was Fabian Schär in the middle. Otherwise, it would have surely been a tap-in for Josh Da Silva in the middle. Although they're not getting forward a lot in these opening few minutes, whenever Brentford are going forward, you can already see they're causing issues for this Newcastle defence.
Yeah, Brentford do need to make a good start this afternoon. It has been a poor time for them, really, as I mentioned, since the start of the new year. And they'll be very grateful for the points they picked up before then. So it means they're just outside the relegation zone as things stand. But pretty much every side underneath Brentford have got some games in hand. So it's really important for the Bees to try and pick up a bit of form as they play Newcastle today. Then it's away to Norwich, followed by at home to Burnley. So big games for Thomas Frank's side as Newcastle go forward now. That's a good ball to pick up Ryan Fraser. Fraser then lifts across towards the back post. Ryan palms it, but not too far. Still a chance here for Jacob Murphy. Lays it off to Jonjo Shelvey. What a telling touch that was from Johan Visser. And then a foul on Josh Da Silva at the edge of his own box. It will be a free kick to Brentford, although the Newcastle man, Matt Target, looks like he's come off worse than that, but it's actually a free kick against him.
Yeah, so we'll have to see a replay in regards to how serious of an injury he may have picked up. It was a really awkward ball for David Raya to do anything with. It was I wouldn't say it's a vital touch, but it's an okay flick away. But what's really critical here is the fantastic touch away by Johan Visser. Looking at the replay, I can understand why Target is down. Da Silva sort of lands on the upper calf, really, of Matt Target. So it'll be really sore for the Newcastle man, but I should be okay to continue.
Should be okay to continue. As I say, it was caused by the fact that Target was bringing down Da Silva, but as he was falling, He does actually land on Matt Targett, who just needs a minute now to pick himself. We've got our first goal of the afternoon.
We do, yes. Crystal Palace have taken the lead at home to Burnley. Jeff Schlupp, the man that has got the goal there. So could be a really big goal for both of these sides, Brentford and Newcastle, to be aware of, knowing that one of their relegation rivals are currently losing.
Yeah, I think both sets of supporters would cheer that result if it was announced at the Brentford Community Stadium now. Meanwhile, Mike Dean is going to check the monitor for a serious foul play for a potential red card. Now, this obviously isn't going to be for Matt Targett's challenge, I don't think. Is this going to be for the way Da Silva landed on them? Have they decided that Da Silva has done something untoward? It certainly didn't look to us. We've seen the replay of it twice now. Never even crossed my mind that Josh Da Silva might be looking at a red card here, but Mike Dean's going to have a look.
The fact he's been told to go over to have a look as well means I don't think it's going to go well for Josh Da Silva. Looking at the replay there, that still image, it doesn't look great for Josh Da Silva. The more you look at it, the worse it does get. So, unfortunately, I can see him going here.
He could go for this. I mean, it's Matt Targett that takes his left foot away. But we'll have to wait and see. Mike Dean wandering back towards the centre circle. He's going to...
Yeah, I think
he's given the free kick the other way, and he sent off Josh Da Silva. So the afternoon has gone from bad to worse for Brentford in just a few seconds. Here we were thinking about potential injury to Matt Targett, and now all of a sudden Brentford are down to 10 men with that challenge from Da Silva.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, really, for Brentford, especially after 10 minutes. I don't think Da Silva has as much in the way of intent there, but he gets his angles all wrong. And what doesn't help his cause is that he leaps sort of into it to try and shepherd the ball away from Matt Targett. And in doing so, he gets more force on the landing on Matt Targett. And it's a really, really nasty collision with the Newcastle man. And he has clearly come off worse. Unfortunately for Brentford, I do think it is the right decision, but I don't think Da Silva has intended to cause that much harm.
No, I don't think he has, but as I say, every time you see that, it's the fact that his foot is up as high as it is. He really has caught Matt Targett flush on that shin there, and it's after Visser got that touch to get the ball away from Shelvey. And yeah, it is a raised foot there from Da Silva, and there's very little intent. There's no intent to play the ball. He's sort of taking out the man first, then he's trying to get where the ball is. He was then tripped by Targett, but that was after he'd been trodden on. So 11 minutes on the clock. Brentford are down to 10 men, and it is a free kick to Newcastle just at the edge of the D with Cher and Shelvey standing over it. Shelvey with the captain's armband. Wait to see whether or not he's going to be taking this himself. As Dan Burns stood behind the wall just to try and make things a bit more difficult here for David Raya. As Mike Dean just marks up where the wall needs to be. Great opportunity this for Newcastle to take an early lead. Just have to wait and see how they want to take this free kick. Doesn't look as though they're setting up for any kind of pass. It's only going to be a shot here now. And Cher marking out his steps. Shelvey's already done so. To see who takes this free kick. Great, this opportunity. Even if Newcastle don't score from this free kick, they're in a great position now with the man advantage. Shelvey's free kick is on target, but it's straight to where David Raya was already stood.
Yes, they're missing Kieran Trippier, clearly, who's already got 2 goals from free kicks since his signing from Atletico Madrid. It's not the worst of efforts there by Shelvey. I don't think he had a great deal much else. I don't think he would have been able to get it up and over the wall. Decided to try and cut it around it, but David Raya had a very clear line of sight, and it was a simple save.
Yeah, not the best clearance from Raya down the middle, but then it's headed on and chased down here by Mbuemo. At the edge of the area, though, Dan Burn with the clearance, and then it's Kraft that gets it away towards the halfway line. But Brentford win it back quickly here with Rico Henry. Now Janelt, ball over the top, which is headed up in the air by Cher. Still bouncing around inside the Newcastle half, hooked up in the air by Janelt towards the penalty area. Dan Burn easily wins that header. Now Joelinton gets there just ahead of Norgard, but Norgard doesn't take no for an answer, flicks that away from the Brazilian. And now Brentford in possession here with Johan Visser, turning away from Willock, turning away from Shelvey, and then plays a ball over the top for Mbuemo. Mbuemo gets underneath it. Is there a foul there? Referee stood close by, doesn't give Newcastle the free kick, but the visitors are able to clear the ball anyway. Back up towards the halfway line. And conversely, though, sometimes playing against 10 men when it's as long as this, it doesn't always pay off, because the home side are just going to have to try and go for it, not worry about the man disadvantage. The problem for Brentford's going to be if it gets to 15, 20 minutes to go and the game still hasn't been settled in their favour. That's when Newcastle and the extra man could make a real difference.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of tired legs come the 70th minute or so. I mean, the fact that Thomas Frank hasn't looked to make any substitute change since Da Silva's been red carded shows that he's going to try and see this out for as long as he thinks it's possible before making the changes, so he can have it as the fresh legs at the key areas of the field. It's going to be a very long game for Brentford. I don't think they're going to be able to get up the field as much as, of course, they would like, and they're going to have to absorb a lot of pressure.
They really are. It's potentially going to be a long afternoon. We're hearing that there may well be a goal at Old Trafford as well for Manchester United against Watford. Confirm that in just a moment if it does actually prove to be. But at the moment, it's just that one goal in the Premier League in the 3 o'clock kickoffs, with Palace leading against Burnley. It's Newcastle in possession now on the halfway line with Dan Burn. Over now towards Target, who's fine to play on. Down the left-hand side now to Ryan Fraser. Inside to Chris Wood, who dropped a little bit deeper this time. Goes back to Burn. Straight away we're seeing some dominance in possession here from Newcastle. The cross comes in, headed down by Chris Wood. But it's a header that's off target in the end.
Yeah, not a bad effort at all there for Chris Wood. I mean, the cross from target is decent. It's over the intended target. Wood is not really in a position where he can realistically score, though, you would have to say. It's not favourable for him, and he gets his angles wrong, and it goes comfortably wide. But it's more dangerous play there for Brentford to have to deal with. Those crosses are dangerous, and when you've got a man like Chris Wood in the middle, you're going to have to try and block him at source, because you can't allow him too much space.
Absolutely not. And the Newcastle travelling fans in full voice. No surprise to see them filling out the away, and always follow their team up and down the country. But a good clearance there from Meyer, headed on by Janelt, and now it's Johan Visser. Janelt's got on the overlap, gets into the penalty area, cuts the ball back. Visser's not going to get there in time, and Fraser's just there ahead of the Brentford man to clear it, and then a bit of a clumsy challenge there on Joelinton. He's brought down by Christopher Ayer. That will be a free kick to Newcastle. Joelinton almost sent into the fuse boxes around the side of the pitch there that power those illuminated advertising boards, but looks like he's going to be okay. Frustration there for Brentford after Janelt put a good ball into the box, but here come Newcastle now down the right hand side with Emil Kraft. He goes inside now to Joe Willock. Willock to Shelvey, just stops in midfield and then plays a crossfield ball looking for Ryan Fraser. He's got plenty of space as he breaks into the box. Overlap here from Target. Ball into the box is swept away by Christian Norgard. Kept in play here by Fraser. Goes back towards Dan Burn. And Burn now towards Fabian Schär on the halfway line. Newcastle already starting to enjoy a lion's share of possession as Schär goes out towards the right-hand side. There is Murphy into the penalty area here for Willock. Willock's got 2 Brentford players on his back. Goes out towards the right-hand side. Kraft's cross into the box is cleared back into midfield. And it's now with Fabian Schär again. It switches play towards Fraser on the left-hand side. Is Target on the overlap, but Fraser goes himself, stands across up. Wood heads it towards goal. It gets a deflection and it's out for a corner. Yeah, it's a little bit late to the party there, the Brentford defence, because Wood had the space. I think it might have been Janssen who just about got the vital touch to it to deflect it over the crossbar. But once again, Wood is just finding it too easy, really, to pull away from the defence and give himself an option for his teammates. So Newcastle having a lot of joy going forward, but at the moment Brentford just about holding firm. They are holding firm. The efforts from Newcastle haven't been on target as yet, but they're starting to find space in and around the edge of the penalty area. Now they're going to have this corner kick from the left-hand side. A right-footed in-swinger from Ryan Fraser, headed away by Ethan Pinnock back into midfield. Target was there, one of the deeper lying players for Newcastle. He plays it straight back to Fraser, who was worried about being offside. So he just lets that ball go out of play for a throw to Brentford. Yeah, not the greatest play there by Newcastle. A bit of a waste of a promising attacking opportunity. And as you'd expect, Brentford sort of time wasting already now, taking their time and going over to actually come and take this throw in. Again, not a lot of the ball Newcastle, but like you mentioned, they're not really causing too many issues for Brentford. They're not getting any shots on target to test David Raya, and that's got to be a real sort of blow for Eddie Howe, because that's going to be a main area that he wants to improve. Absolutely, blow there for Joelinton as well. He just backed into Christopher Ayer and gives away the free kick. It's clear that Newcastle's number 7 didn't agree with that decision, but it will be a free kick to Brentford. Still no kickoff, by the way, at the Amex between Brighton and Aston Villa. Whatever those traffic problems were, obviously must be quite severe. May well be that it could just be a case that either the visitors or indeed the home side. Some home teams meet up in hotels before they travel by coach to their stadium. So whatever the issue is there, the game still hasn't quite got underway. As we see a Danish trio on the bench there for Brentford in Jorgensen, Lossell and Christian Eriksen. Get the feeling that Zanka Jorgensen, he's slowly getting back to some match fitness. He's going to be vying for a place in that starting 11 soon. But Brentford now in the Newcastle half, just about. Ball played back towards Ethan Pinnock. There's Rico Henry with some space down the left-hand side. He heads towards the edge of the penalty area. Finds Johan Visser, drops her shoulder and puts her cross in, looking for Vitaliano. That one's hooked away by Jacob Murphy, but still kept alive here by Brentford. Visser dropped a bit deeper this time. And he plays it back to Pinnock on the halfway line. Square now to Pontus Jansson, who's off down the right-hand side here to Christopher Ayer. Under pressure from Ryan Fraser. Ayer loses the ball far too easily, but then stays on his feet, wins it back twice when Fraser dispossessed him, and then Joelinton. That's a poor ball, though, from Jensen to Brian Mbeumo. Brentford giving it away a little bit too easily in midfield. And John Joe Shelvey just calming things down here for Newcastle. It's possession just at the edge of the centre circle spot. Samuel Kraft down the right-hand side with plenty of space. Kraft then goes back towards Shelvey. 20 minutes on the clock, independent off-tube studio commentary. It is goalless between Brentford and Newcastle, but Brentford are down to 10 men after a straight red card for Josh Da Silva following a VAR review. But as far as both of us are concerned, it was the right decision.
Yeah, it was the right decision. I think looking at it in normal time, you could be forgiven thinking it wasn't too bad of a tackle, but the more replays you look at it, the worse it gets. He gets none of the ball, he jumps into the tackle, and he clearly gets a lot of the man as well. It's a really nasty one, and it was the only real decision that could be made. Yeah,
absolutely. We didn't even consider that at first, but it was because the first angle we were getting was more of Da Silva being felled. It was only when they showed us the second angle they go, actually, yeah, he's really has caught him, and that's long before Target actually collided with him. So in the end, it was the right decision. But Newcastle just struggling to clear the ball away from their own half, although they're not really doing too much in terms of defending their own box here now. As the ball over the top here finds Johan Visser. He's been forced a long way out wide, though, been stood up here by Kraft. He tries to find an overlap here in Rico Henry, but that's good play. Combination of Kraft and then Murphy get the ball away for Newcastle. It drops straight to Christian Norgard. Finds Rico Henry. Henry trying to get away from Murphy. Drops his shoulder. Right-footed ball into the box is cleared by Scher. Drops to Norgard, who for some inexplicable reason decided to volley that one straight back towards the penalty area when he was completely unmarked. He could have taken 3 or 4 touches before looking to get it into the box, but it's out for a goal kick as Thomas Frank applauding his players' efforts in the last few minutes, but it's going to need a lot more of that. You just get the feeling that Newcastle could almost bide their time in this game, and Brentford have to be careful not to burn out too quickly.
Yeah, they really can just work Brentford side to side, keep them moving, make them tire, and then they'll create openings later in the game. It's still very early on. We're still only midway through this first half at the moment. So they've got time just to hold on to possession. They don't need to throw the kitchen sink yet. If they can just hold on to possession, then it could be quite an easy game for them.
That's what Eddie Howe will be thinking, that his side slowly but surely starts to make more inroads. But here's Jacob Murphy now down the right-hand side, trying to get away from Rico Henry. Runs into Rico Henry, and the final touch is of Jacob Murphy. So it will be David Raya to restart play. We're at the halfway mark in this first half. 23 minutes gone. It is Brentford 0, Newcastle 0. Brentford are down to 10 men, but it will be Will to take us through to half-time.
Thank you very much, Paul. It doesn't look like there was ever a goal at Old Trafford, so it is still Manchester United 0, Watford 0, the other game as well. Crystal Palace 1, Burnley 0. Also still the latest score, the earlier decision with the delayed game with Brighton and Aston Villa. The current sort of approximation is that game's going to kick off at 3:30. So we're just seeing also on our studio screens pictures of the new Newcastle owners. They've made the trip down to Brentford today to support their side, as Wood flicks it on towards Murphy, who just about gets away from Ethan Pinnock. This could be an opportunity. It's a dangerous cross in, just too far ahead of Chris Wood. It will be mopped up, though, by Ryan Fraser. Back it goes towards Target, now with Fraser again. Held up by Ayer. Here's Target looking to float the ball into the area. Can't find the intended target. It'll now come back towards Kraft. His effort well blocked by Vitali Janos, and that will be deflected out for a throw-in for Newcastle. Dangerous times there, though, for Brentford. It was a really promising move from the Magpies, as Kraft will take his time with his throw-in. Not offered a great deal in the way of support. Eventually he's forced to make his throw backwards towards Fabian Scher. Now Dan Burn for Newcastle. Every Magpies player, bar the goalkeeper, Martin Dubravka, all in the Brentford half. Here is Fraser, finding Joelinton, whose pass is atrocious. I think he was expecting a run from Fraser, which never arrived, and he just toe pokes the ball out of play for a simple goal kick. And, well, Brentford will happily accept those errors all day long.
They certainly will. I think Joelinton himself looked a little bit confused as to how it actually came to him giving that ball away as easily as he did. But no harm done, I think, as far as Newcastle are concerned, because they're going to get chances again. The way that Brentford are trying to manage this game is going to be a difficult one for Thomas Frank to try and consider it. He may well be thinking about a substitution at half-time as well if he feels that midfield needs to be shored up.
Yes, we're just waiting on this goal kick to be taken for Brentford with David Raya. He takes his time and eventually lifts it long. It's going to be towards the far right-hand wing. The flick on by Janelt will be picked up by Mbeumo, runs into traffic in the form of Murphy. Murphy then plays it off of the Frenchman Brian Mbeumo to win a throw-in for his side inside their own half, and that throw goes back towards Fabian Scher. Scher now towards Dan Burn, under no real pressure by any man in red and white. His target. That target will find Fraser, again in space. Looks to make his way forward. Now with target, his cross gets away from Ayer, cleared away by Janssen, and then Wisser turns away from Dan Burn. Lovely dribbling there by Johan Wisser, and this could be an opportunity here for Brentford. Wisser marauding forward, has the overlap in Ayer, instead goes towards Mbeumo, who tries to hold off Emil Kraft. That's good defending, though, by the Swedish fullback to win possession back, and then Shelvey will intercept. Now there's an opportunity here for Newcastle. The game's getting more and more stretched. Fraser has the overlap in Joelinton, looks to float it in towards Chris Wood. Fantastic save by David Raya. Closest that either side have come to an opening goal. It was a delicious cross by Ryan Fraser. Wood unmarked, planting his header into the deck, but really good save there by Raya.
It was a good save by Raya. It's an excellent save by Raya after a good little run this from Ryan Fraser on his weaker left foot. Stands up a lovely cross. Wood not particularly well marked, it has to be said. Pinnock is a good couple of yards ahead of him, and there's nobody really jumping with him, but Raya gets two hands to it.
Yeah, it's a vital save, but Newcastle continue to come forward with Fraser playing a 1-2 with target. And with Fraser, once again, few step-overs. Gets towards the byline, little floated ball in. The header on by Joelinton, can't find the intended target, then falls to Kraft on the volley inside the area. Plenty of power behind it, but no accuracy, and that sails comfortably over David Raya's goal. But Newcastle, they're just turning the screw a little bit.
They are. Just the last few minutes, it's a little bit more difficult for Brentford to get into the Newcastle half, and then a couple of half chances. That header from Wood, certainly the closest we've been to seeing a goal in this game so far. And Brentford, as they have been all season, a little bit open at the back. Even when they're down to 10 men, Chris Wood was able to jump for that header with nobody really marking him.
No, I mean, as it currently stands, Newcastle would leapfrog both Leeds United and Everton, going up to 15th place. Of course, Leeds lost the early kick-off by 4-0 at home to Tottenham, so they are really being drawn into a bit of a relegation scrap. Everton, of course, playing later on at home to Manchester City, where it's a bit of a tall order, you would say, for them to turn that game into a 3 points for them. Here's Christopher Ayer, though, for Brentford for the throw-in on this near right-hand side. Options a little bit limited for him, but he will eventually take the throw towards Mbeumo. Holds off Scher, pokes it towards Janelt, who gets away from Shelvey, now with Johan Wisser. He can only poke it back further towards Janssen, and maybe just a slightly more prolonged period of possession. It's the long ball intending for Mbeumo, headed away by Burn, will fall kindly to target, and Newcastle once again will play the ball out from the back, and or maybe it's as to be expected in the position they're currently in. Brentford, they're not looking to press from the front. Once they lose possession, they're immediately just flooding back into their own half.
They are. It's always a very difficult balance to try and be a dominant side when you're down to 10 men. Being a home team and playing 80 minutes of the 90 with a man disadvantage is very difficult. And I suppose from Brentford's point of view, they want to score to have something to defend, but then they also don't want to send too many players forward to then concede. So it really is a catch-22 here for Thomas Frank's side.
Seeing more pictures of Christian Eriksen watching on from the bench. I can only imagine we're going to get many, many more of them before we see the Dane eventually brought onto the field of play, as what is to be expected in this game, some point in the second half. For the long-awaited return to football, as we have a corner kick now for Newcastle. The cross blocked by Ethan Pinnock at source, so it's going to be a chance for the ball to be whipped into the area by Matt Targett. The likes of Joelinton, Chris Wood, Shelvey's in the area, and imagine Dan Burn and Fabian Scher are going to make their way forward as well. Dan Burn, of course, a tall, imposing figure in the middle of the 6-yard box. Joe Willock, I should say, is also in there as well. The cross is put in, header away by Henry as Mbeumo found his man. He has. That's going to be a free kick for Newcastle in what is a very dangerous area to possibly go for goal.
Well, Mike Dean makes his mind up fairly quickly here. I mean, in this day and age where referees do allow a little bit of contact, I didn't think that was a nailed-on free kick. It all depends on where Mbeumo was and how he positioned himself. I'm not sure. I mean, if there's a little nudge in the back there, I just think that if... I'm surprised he's given that free kick, to be quite honest, but it presents Newcastle with a very good chance as the Brighton-Aston Villa game finally gets underway. Yes,
that game has finally kicked off with the picture that we saw. It's hard to say if it is shoulder to shoulder or if it is shoulder into the back of Jacob Murphy. Either way, Mike Dean has awarded the free kick. It's a position where you can see a cross coming in. You can also see an attempt on goal. It's maybe no more than 19, 20 yards out. Ryan Fraser standing over it has his mat target. I think if it's Fraser, it's surely going to be a cross into the area. Target may go for goal. Shelvey, Byrne, Wood, Scher, Willock all in the area. Fraser does, but a cross in is dangerous as well. It's an important flick away, believed by Pontus Jansson in the end. Is it going to be kept in? It is not. Emil Kraft's going to let that go for a throw-in for Newcastle on this near left-hand side, I should say. He's going to let that throw-in to be taken by a fellow teammate in Matt Target. Target going to go for a long throw into the area. He may have to, considering his options short. Eventually he's given support in Fraser. Target, Joelinton let that go, intending for Shelvey. Not going to go his way, and then Dan Byrne makes the tackle. Now Fabian Scher for Newcastle. Scher towards the right-hand side in Murphy. Back towards Scher again. Looks up, floats it in towards the edge of the area for Fraser. Brings it down well. Another dangerous cross in. Header away, this time by Ethan Pinnock. And Mbeumo helps it on, but it'll only be picked up again, this time by Dan Byrne, who takes no chances going back towards Dubravka. And well, it's very repetitive at the moment, just balls into the area being dealt with.
But the fact is Newcastle don't need to do anymore because they'll feel as though they've got plenty of time, and they have Brentford on the ropes because Brentford aren't going to be pushing as high up the field as they would like. So it is a difficult one here for Brentford to try and manage. But on the other hand, Newcastle don't want to be too sort of linear with what they're doing. They need to have a little bit of variety, but here comes Fraser.
Fraser on the left-hand side, looking to take on Christopher Ayer. Sees Willock on the overlap. Can he keep the ball in play? He can. Not really in a position, though, to get a cross in. He's being well marshalled by Pontus Jansson. Eventually plays a lovely, cute ball into the area. The cross is well dealt with by David Raya, who got down low to his left-hand side to make the save. Not sure if it was going in or not. I think it might have been. It was Matt Target on the overlap who tried to flash the ball across the face. Such a cute pass there by Willock. Waited for the run of Target. And either way, Raya's got to get down low.
Raya's got to get down low, but Brentford always susceptible from set pieces, and this is where they really have to be careful now.
Corner kick whipped in, but it's dealt with at the near post by Norgard. Now with Murphy, back it goes again, this time for Matt Target. Here's Murphy again. Down the line for Fraser. Will he look to lift the ball into the area? Instead he goes short towards Scher. Back to Ryan Fraser. Options in the area. Cross towards the back post. The header from Joelinton is brilliant. And we do now have our opening goal. It's Brentford 0, Newcastle 1. You can't say it hadn't been coming. And it's a big goal for Joelinton. The striker turned into a midfielder, lurking at the back post. Fantastic header, and he's run the entire length of the field to celebrate in front of his away supporters. Brentford 0, Newcastle 1.
Yeah, the goal's been coming. You can't say that there's been a glut of chances, but the possession has been going one way. Newcastle have been getting the free kicks, the corner kicks, and although Brentford initially dealt with the set piece, players coming back in numbers, and you look at Joelinton, nobody is ever marking him, nobody is ever aware of where Joelinton is, and then the nerve of Christopher Ayer to put his hands up and complain and look to the linesman to see if Joelinton's offside. How can he be offside? He's behind you, for goodness sake. It was really very, very poor from Brentford indeed. You could be down to 10 men, you could be down to 8 men, but you still have to mark up when a big dangerous forward like Joelinton is jumping for a header, and there was nobody even trying to stop him, so it's no surprise really that he was able to finish with a real bullet header as well.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic finish by the Brazilian Joelinton. And he's managed to give the Magpies a deserved lead after 33 minutes of this game. Here is Janelt under pressure by Joelinton. It goes all the way back, though, towards Pontus Jansson. Now with Pinnock. Can Brentford at least create a chance in this first half to maybe find their way back into this game? Breaking forward is Norgard, bundled over by Murphy. He's drawn a foul, he's won a free kick midway inside the Newcastle half, right by the touchline, but this is probably as good of opportunity as Brentford are going to create in this first half.
Well, these sorts of free kicks in wide position, this is where they do have to try and capitalise. They're not going to get much possession, not going to get much ball from open play in front of the Newcastle box. This is the kind of opportunity they really have to take advantage of.
Yes, they really, really do. So it will be whipped into the area. Looks like you've got 4 Brentford players in the 18-yard box at the moment. And Buemo's the man who's going to take this for the Bees. Norgard, Pinnock, Wissa's in there as well, as is Ayer. It's taken short. Yanelt floats it in. Header away by Joelinton. Then brought down well by Ryan Fraser, who's got pace to burn, but also Rico Henry does as well. And Henry's done fantastically well to win the shoulder-to-shoulder and give it back towards David Raya. Here's long clearance. Can't be won in the air by Christopher Ayer, who I think was maybe unsighted by the glaring sun beaming down in London. The ball's poked out, though, for a throw-in for Brentford, just inside the Newcastle half. Here is Janssen, back towards Raya again. Raya looks to float it long, intending for Mbuemo. His flick on in, aiming for Vitaly Yano, again dealt with by Dan Burn. I mean, maybe the sun might prove to be a little bit of help for Brentford in this first half, and if so, they really need to get a goal whilst they still have it shining against them.
Absolutely, yeah, the sun will be going down, although this isn't November anymore. The days are getting just that little bit longer, so it may still be a factor in the second half. But just a little bit more possession now for Brentford. What's interesting is 2 or 3 times the ball's been flicked on, and the furthest forward is Vitaly Yano, who can, be a forward-thinking midfielder, but it's not really his first thought. And I just think that perhaps they need to try and work out their formation. But in the meantime, Newcastle win the ball back. Here's Murphy.
Murphy breaking forward into the area, holds off Henry, holds off Pinnock. It's a dangerous cross in as well, and it's a really well dealt with in the end by the Swede. Pontus Jansson managing to outstretch his right leg to get a vital toe to it. Otherwise, there was a Newcastle player making a late run into the area that surely would have had a tap in.
There was numbers were starting to build up there for Newcastle. It was crucial that Brentford were able to clear their lines, but here come the visitors now down the left.
Yeah, Fraser finding Chris Wood, who's dropped deep now towards John Joe Shelby. Had a stat on the screen earlier on that Newcastle have already had 9 attempts on goal, as Murphy puts a dangerous cross in, and it's almost found to Willock. It's fallen to Ryan Fraser, gets a shot away. Fantastic save by David Raya. Great reactions to get low to his left-hand side to palm the ball away, and it's thumped away from danger as well. At the moment, Raya's keeping this score at a respectable level.
He is. It could have been 2 or 3 for Newcastle had it not been for Raya. Gets good hands to that one with, again, just numbers building up at the edge of the Brentford penalty. They're sat so deep now, are the Bees. They're just encouraging Newcastle to get forward.
They really are. Now with Fabian Schär for Newcastle. Murphy on the right-hand side looks to get a cross in, blocked at source by Rico Henry. Willock can't bring the ball into his stride. Visser under pressure, goes back towards Vitaly Janelt, pokes it wide for Rico Henry, and Brentford will look to go long. The flick on by Mbuemo, no one there to aim for. I mean, when they're doing these long balls clearances, trying to start a new attack, there's no one there to continue the attack. They're just gifting possession straight back.
That's the problem. They're sat so far deep that they're encouraging Newcastle to get forward. On the rare occasions that they win the ball back, they've got nobody, as you said, to actually get the ball out to, and it's just more of the same. Newcastle are coming back again and again. So Brentford do have to think. I mean, the man disadvantage made no difference for the goal because Brentford don't man mark anyway, so there was no one stopping Joelinton heading that towards goal. And now again, Brentford sitting back deep as Newcastle looking to build on the left-hand side.
Ryan Fraser getting away from Jensen. Now a Joelinton finding Target on the left. Target finds support in Chris Wood. He'll hold off Pinnock, utilising his strength there, the New Zealand international. Now with Ryan Fraser, a few step-overs, gets away from Ayer. It's another dangerous cross towards the back post. Murphy, header across the face. Chris Wood! And it's another save by David Raya. Didn't get the power behind it, Chris Wood, that he needed. He had to lean back in order to get his head onto it. It was still going in, though. It's another important save by the Spaniard.
It is indeed, and we see that this ball stood up by Fraser. It's a good cross in, and Murphy does well to head that across. Wood just perhaps didn't have the sort of the run-up to that header to really generate some power into it, and in the end it was a comfortable save, but more chances building up. Brentford haven't had a shot on goal in this half yet.
No, they haven't. I'm not even sure if they've had a shot off target either. They've really been poor in that regards as Jensen may have just been caught by Joelinton. Nothing awarded, though, by Mike Dean. Joelinton then pokes it forward towards Chris Wood. The sliding tackle by Jensen only goes as far as the Brazilian, Joelinton. And now Shelby will spread it towards the right-hand side in Kraft. Kraft has got support in the overlap in Murphy. Will use him as well. Murphy inside the area, holds off Pinnock. Support in the area for cross can be put in. Now with Cher with the cross, it's not exactly that tantalising for a player to get on the end of it. It's going to be thumped away by Norgard, but now Shelby once again will mop up. Listening to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Brentford 0, Newcastle 1, 39.5 minutes gone. Murphy away from Henry. Shelby will go for goal from the edge of the area. That's not far away at all. Just nestling on the roof of the net. Had Raya sprawling, couldn't get a hand to it, and thankfully for him, it nestles just over.
So very much Shelby's territory. This hits it first time. It's rising over the goalkeeper, but just over the bar as well. And with the net supported by that stanchion post, as you said, it just nestles on top of the net there before going away for a goal kick. But it really was a good effort there from Shelby, and Newcastle looking to try and get a second here before half-time.
Yes, as Christian Eriksen's getting warmed up on the sidelines. It might be a case that we see him entering the field of play in the second half, maybe to start the second half, who knows.
And it wouldn't be a bad idea. He has now played 3 games behind closed doors. He's been training with Brentford now for around 3 weeks, so you'd think that certainly to play half an hour or even 45 minutes, he should be fit enough to do that. And actually his influence of being able to spread the play a little bit could be what Brentford need.
Yes, that could be vital for them as Murphy breaks on the right-hand side. Still plenty of Newcastle players flooding forward whenever they get the opportunity. Murphy's cross blocked by Henry. Has it come off Murphy last? It has. That's going to be a goal kick for Brentford. And I must say, whenever Newcastle are going forward, I've got to give them a lot of credit. They're always getting 4-5 players inside the area.
Well, they can, because they know that they can, because Brentford are playing so deep right now. Brentford like to play a high line normally, but they're playing so deep that there's just nobody going to be offside here, and that means that Newcastle can send 4-5 players forward on each occasion, and they know they're going to get that space in the box.
Yes, we just see another replay of that goal by Joelinton. It really is a fantastic header by the Brazilian, back across from where the cross came from. And plenty of Newcastle fans have made that long journey down to London. Are very, very happy with what they're seeing from their side so far. I mean, even with their man advantage, I'd probably say that ever since Eddie Howe took over, this might be one of their best performances that I've seen in a half, because considering how dominant they have been.
Absolutely, and you have to say that in the last 5 or 6 games, Eddie Howe's side have started to play better. There was a few concerns after the first couple of games he was in charge, but he has got it stamped down on the team now. The couple of signings they brought, and of course they really do miss Trippier, but Targett was a good solid defender who's playing well today again. So it is looking like a much better Newcastle side now, and with the money they have behind them now, of course the expectation is they can easily avoid, well, they should be avoiding relegation this season before building on into next season.
Yes, who knows if they can kick on and really make a name for themselves in the Premier League, as Christopher Ayer is going to let that go for a throw-in for Brentford midway inside the Newcastle half. They might be looking to put a long throw into the area, and this would be a real smash and grab if they can get anything from this attacking area of the field. It's going to be Ethan Pinnock that's going to come over to take this. So Pinnock will look to throw this long as close to the area as possible. It's going to find Norgard, who brings it down, couldn't get a shot away, goes back to Ethan Pinnock. His cross is blocked by Ryan Fraser. Corner kick for Brentford, and, well, they might be able to end this first half with just a tad of promise that they might be able to get back into this game. It's their second corner, and, well, I think height-wise they're quite even, but they do have plenty of physicality in the area. They
do. They've got Pinnock and Janssen now trying to find a position. Got Mbuemo and Vissa lurking there, as well as Norgard, who's good from a set piece. Janssen is there, so they have got plenty of players they could try and aim for here. Just have to wait to see what kind of corner kick they can take here. Brentford is going to be an outswinger from Matthias Jensen.
Yes, Matthias Jensen just waiting for the all clear, and it is Jensen that whips the ball towards the back post. It's a really poor delivery though by Jensen. Rico Henry gives it back, and there's a cross in. It's going to be dealt with by Fraser, who lifts it long. Is Chris Wood going to be able to bring this down? He does. That's wonderfully brought down. It's going to be breaking forward. Willock with the opportunity. Willock with a one-on-one with David Raya. Joe Willock. It is 2-0 to Newcastle. Fantastic counter-attack by the Magpies, and surely they might have already put this game to bed. They've got the man advantage. They've got that 2-goal cushion. Brentford 0, Newcastle 2.
Well, it's poor from Brentford, as great a counter-attack as this is from Newcastle, and it is superb to finish in the way that they did. Brentford invited this. First of all, it's an appalling corner from Matthias Jensen. The follow-up ball in then from the left-hand side is far too low. It's cleared. And if you were to look back over the last 2 seasons, how many times Brentford have conceded a goal from their own corner kick, it's unbelievable. The defensive organisation just non-existent. Take nothing away, though, from Wood, who keeps his composure and rolls the ball to Willock. And it's an absolutely fantastic finish. Opens up the body, opens up the instep, and absolutely places that one into the top corner.
Just looking at the replay, unbelievably, it's not actually Chris Wood that broke forward. It was Fabian Scher who was on the halfway line breaking forward, the centre-back. So it really is fantastic attacking play by the Swiss defender, who is known for his attacking capabilities as well. But it was a perfectly weighted pass to set off Joe Willock. And like you mentioned, it really is a solid finish by the former Arsenal man into the roof of the net. And, well, it was always going to be a tall order for Brentford to get back into this game. 2 goals in it now. From what we've seen in the first half, we can probably agree there's no hope for them.
There isn't. If they come out in any kind of similar vein to what they've done in the first half, they're too nervous to go forward. They're too nervous to defend. When they go forward, they leave gaps at the back. There's no quality in the distribution. Matthias Jensen hasn't had a good cross most of the season, really. He's been very, very frustrating at times, the Brentford number 8. And we're into 3 minutes of added time.
Yes, 3 minutes of added time for, well, essentially Brentford to hold on at the end of this first half, as Newcastle having so much joy going forward. No other goals to tell you about in the Premier League still, so it remains Brighton 0, Aston Villa 0. That game's only been going on for around a quarter of an hour. Crystal Palace 1, Burnley 0. That a goal from Jeff Schlupp still separating the two sides. And Manchester United 0, Watford 0. Still the current score there as well. Although those latter 2 games are in added time. As Target gets across into the area. Overhit, but it's going to get brought back for a free kick anyway. Late tackle by Christopher Ayer, who's also going to go into the referee's notebook. So that's the first yellow card that we've seen in this game so far. Just far too late to the party there, Christopher Ayer. It's a tackle that isn't really necessary.
No, the ball's going to reach the box anyway, whether he clatters into Target or not. So it just seems like a gift of a free kick and a giveaway of a yellow card as well.
Yes, Target maybe just slightly winded from that tackle as well, but he should be okay to continue. Can confirm that Crystal Palace 1, Burnley 0 and Manchester United 0, Watford 0 are confirmed half-time scores, that they are both into the break there. We still have around 1.5 minutes of our added time remaining in this game as we wait this free kick to be taken. David Raya tries to organise his 2-man wall of Matthias Jensen and Johan Visser. And it will be Ryan Fraser that will take this one. He's had a very decent game today, the Scotsman. Fraser will look to float this into the area towards the back post. Not bad at all. The header comes in. It's another big save by David Raya from a tight angle, parrying the ball away. It's going to get put back into the area, surely though by Willock. Willock with the ball intending for Dan Burn. That's easily gathered again by David Raya, who by far and beyond is the man of the match for Brentford so far. Well,
he's the one actually still trying to do his job. The rest of the team are struggling to get any kind of influence on the pitch. They're giving Newcastle far too much space. But just as I say that, Visser breaking through.
Yes, Visser trying to get away from Target, but then it's a mixture of Target and Fabian Scher that deals with the danger. Scher hammering the ball out for a throw-in for Brentford in line with the penalty box. There's also been a goal for Aston Villa away from home against Brighton. Matty Cash getting the opening goal there for the Villains. So Ethan Pinnock's long throw, we'd imagine, might be the final attack.
Probably will be, yeah. We've got under 30 seconds of the allocated 3 minutes still left to play. And so Pinnock just waiting to try and launch this into the box.
Ethan Pinnock now. It is a long throw. Is it going to be flicked on by Ayer? No, it's going to be headed away by a mixture of Joelinton and Dan Burn. Out for a corner kick, so there might still be one throw of the dice at the end of this half for the Bees. They need something positive to end on here, as Norgard and Janssen have a few words with each other. Pinnock, Visser still in the area. Jensen to take this corner kick. His last delivery ended up being a counter-attack for Newcastle, which ended up with the second goal. Jensen again towards the back post. The header by Ayer has actually gone backwards, and it's going to be cleared away by Shelvey. Can Willock get on the end of it? No, Rico Henry's done really well to win possession back. And now Matthias Jensen again. His long floated ball. Can he find a man in red and white? No, that's going to be cleared by Dan Burn. Out for a throw-in. Jensen comes over. Now past the 3 minutes of added time, and in fact that's going to be that for the first half. The half-time whistle has been blown. We're going into the break. Brentford 0, Newcastle United 2, and we'll see you in the second half.